So I'm using the multi-prog to read a batch ECU. So with this one, I just input the batch number, which is a 10-digit number, into the batch query. Then it gives me the detail about the ECU itself. There's one thing I like about it. So now that I know the ECU name, I can go to search and go and set the ECU name, which is EDC17CP11. So I just enter into search mode and do the EDC17CP11 so that I get the exact board, and it is Landrover Discovery. Yeah. So I select it. Then this ECU has internal EEPROM and internal flash and external flash also. So I'll pause it and do the wiring diagram and get back to you. So now that everything is connected, my voltages, everything is okay, then I start the read so that I'll be able to see. And the Chinese written you are seeing down there is saying simply receive and connecting to server. So when it comes to the ECU, your system has to connect to the server. So without strong internet, it can't read, because it has to connect to the server. For most of the ECU, it has to get a password so that it will be able to communicate. Yeah, it failed. I omit one wire, so I'll fix it and redo the connection again. So you can see I omit the green one, which is the ignition wire. So now that I've redone that, I've refixed it, I'll wait for it to connect to the server. So when you are reading ECU, you have to get strong internet, because if you don't have internet, multi-prog would not read properly for you, because the issue is it is done through the server. Now, most of the modern ECU readers, also all of them connect to servers before they are able to communicate, because they have to decode their password and other things. So it's able to read the data and tell you the hexes in it. So if you can see the moment it get connected, you can see my DC power, which is 1415. You can see anytime the amperage goes up, then that means it is connecting to my control unit. So this system, what it does is it sends signal or impulses. So maybe if the wiring is strong, it sends impulses and feels it is not right, it just we just cut the power going into it. So with this ECU, whenever the ECU is connected, you can see where the fitting the amperage will go up, and it shouldn't be, depending on the vehicle, sometimes it goes above 0.5 amps, but normally it's below 0.5 amps. So you can see that now it is done reading the EEPROM successfully, and you can see the number of minutes it took. So when it comes to those things, mine is in Chinese for that portion when it's connecting to the server and those things. So now that I've read it before, reading it the second time wouldn't be that much time, but mostly you have to get strong internet, because when there is delay in the internet, it sometimes delay it. And the issue we are facing with this server issue is when their servers are down, you can't use the tool. That's the only thing that is bad about the server systems. When the issue is down, you can see I'm getting my chip ID and all the chip types. So this chip is TC1796, and I'm also getting the chip ID also. So it uses those things to calculate the password or to unlock the boots and allow you to communicate with the with the ECU. So now you can see it's doing another read, but this is a flash. I'm trying to read the internal flash. So with this, I'll wait for it to finish reading the internal flash, and you can see my voltages also. So the device voltage and the DC power, which is the 12 volt that I connect to my ECU also. You can see the amount of current my ECU is consuming. And sometimes I really like it in a way that whenever there is no activity, there is no power, or there is no current flow, it just goes to zero. So it uses something like a bias voltage to check where when the connection is right and when to inject signal. So it has relays in them that clicks and unclicks. So I think that's what they've done, and it is not only this. The DC706 that I also use, which is from OBD Star, also has that features in their MP001 also. So now I'll do the external flash also. So I'm reading this ECU and I'll try to see if I can edit it. Although there is a Discovery and it's V6 diesel engine. I'll also do one or two to see if I could be able to do. The immooff as they are saying, so that I can show you guys the immooff. I will not test it because this ECU is for experiment. So I will not do any testing, but I'll see if the system can read. So now it has gotten to the point that it has to communicate with the tool. You can see how the voltages are changing, and at this point it is sending, or it is injecting 14 volts to the ECU. So when you measure it, that's what you get at the tip of the ECU connector. So if you can see my VCC, my VDD, my VPP, all of them are off because I'm not using that kind of connector. Although I'm using the DP4544, I'm not using the MCU connector. I'm using the ECU connector. So now that it's able to read everything, we are done, and it tells you the number of minutes it took, which is 2 minutes 33 seconds, 2 milliseconds to read the ECU. So now that I have the data in it, so this is the important data that you need from the ECU. So normally if you want to clone this device, you have to read all those three, and you usually get the VIN number mostly in the EEPROM. I think the VIN number appeared like 4 or 5 times. So anytime you move, you can see the VIN number will appear. So I'm trying to identify the VIN number. And also I can use the search button to get you the VIN number. You can see the VIN number in it. And you can also see the VIN number in the external flash also. And the internal flash, I'm not sure I got any VIN number. So let me see if that one too, I'll get any VIN number in it. So with this one, it tells me it can read it. And if you are using multi-prog, forget about using it to do some of the AC deco ECUs like the E series, E78, E98, those ones. I'll do a video about it also, because they usually crash them during writing process. And reading it will be okay, but writing I wouldn't advise you. But some of the ECUs too is able to write it like as good as it can, or as by writing. Sometimes this machine is slow on writing. I don't know if it is due to the internet or due to how they've designed the machines to write the data onto the new ECU. But when the data are and the sectors are the same, it will just skip them, then it is done. But when they are not the same, that's where you can spend like 11 minutes in writing one ECU. So I'll do more videos on the multi-prog, so that you know if you like to do, or you like to get something out of it, you want to use it, because every tool is not perfect. When multi-prog, they are now developing, and it's not even up to a year now since the tool came out, but they are now developing, and they are constantly updating their software for it to be better, and adding up other things to it. So I've read the external external flash again. So this ECU has external flash and internal flash. It's like, and also internal EEPROM. So this tool, you can't just open it and change the EEPROM. So when we say external EEPROM, that means when you open the ECU, you get an EEPROM which is not part of the MCU. But this one is telling me it has external EEPROM and external flash. So this is the 10 of Immo. So you search your ECU type and see if it will be able to do it, but I'm not seeing mine in, which is the CP11. The ones I'm seeing are different. So that's how you search for your ECU to see if you can do Immo off with it. And you can see I'm not seeing mine in, but I'm trying something to see if multi-prog. So when you go to tools, that's where you can select tools, and you can see the turn off the Immo. So it can do Immo off, but not for all ECUs. For some of the ECUs, it can do Immo off. So I'm trying to see, and mine, because it is TC1796, that's why I'm trying to use the TC179X. That means any number can do that. So I'll do it, and you can see it's telling me it is done successfully. So I'll save that and compare the file maybe later and see, but I'm not going to write it on it because this is already Immo off, and I'm not going to save it. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. So this is how simple you can do your Immo off.